So I've been training since I was a kid, but because of my busy schedule currently, it's kinda slipping away. I've always held myself to the standard of like what an athlete is supposed to train like, and was training since I was like 10, 14 every day, 5 or 6 days a week with like hard and grueling workouts, but it's kinda not convenient anymore. It's great if you can sustain it, but everyone, even athletes, have periods where they cannot sustain it and when they're busy or just life gets tough. So what to do? Instead of taking big breaks where you're passive, today's video is about approaching a new philosophy of training, which is move more and train less. It puts movement on a pedestal instead of structured, hard and grueling training. So the problem happens when too much stress accumulates in our life. So it's not necessarily a specific thing happening, but maybe it's just a repetitive, boring work that we need to do over and over and over that sort of acts as a physiological stressor to our body. Work on its own is a stressor, and if you combine that with hard and grueling workouts, a lot of times it can lead to extreme fatigue, burnouts, hormonal imbalances, and mood swings. There are these days where it's not convenient to push a hard and grueling workout. You're maybe in a different phase or period in your life where it's just not convenient to do it and you cannot hold to that athlete sort of standard. Maybe your relationships are taking a lot of mental energy from you. Maybe there's something going at school and you're too busy studying, or maybe work has been just very hard and stressful these days. It's okay. The point is not to take long passive breaks, but maybe to start moving a bit lighter. It's sort of a way to keep your physique and health in check without needing to push that hard and do any structured trainings. So think of it as micro workouts or some light movement that will get different benefits to your physical health and well-being. These things can improve your cardiovascular health, they can reset your metabolism, and they can also stabilize blood glucose levels. Even just doing like a little 10-minute stair climbing or a bit of hiking and some sort of rowing or just a couple of deadlifts and pull-ups will definitely have an effect on your health and well-being. When the muscle works, it takes up all this glucose, and so blood glucose levels become more stable as they are shoved, as glucose is shoved in the muscle, and we're already at a more optimal metabolic level in terms of both producing energy and lowering inflammation. Now, for who is it / when should you use this? So this is the way I see it. A lot of people have periods of very intense workouts where everything's going great, their bodies look perfect, we're all aesthetic and energetic and it's nice, but then there are these long passive breaks. And whether it's pro athletes or bodybuilders, although this is not gonna make you one, it can be a very good thing to incorporate during your off season / when you're not working as hard instead of taking a passive break. This is also great for busy people, so entrepreneurs, scientists, workaholics, whoever you are. If you have a very tight schedule and you know that working out every day, especially doing hard workouts, isn't a possibility, then a bit of movement will definitely get you a lot further. The third group of people are those who find it very hard to consistently go to the gym. Because your workouts are so hard and so structured and you see, oh, I have deadlifts, I have squats today, I don't have the energy for it. Because of that, you start to skip all these workouts and then you still end up with a long and passive break. Whereas you could say, instead of going 6 days at the gym, I'm gonna go 4 days, and 2 of these are gonna be light trainings because it's way more sustainable for me and I'm actually gonna do it instead of just saying I'm gonna do it when I have time. I have created a newsletter called Keys to Vitality, which brings you one key insight or actionable step every Tuesday in your mail to get you closer to elevating your energy, vitality, and optimizing your performance. You'd get things like 3 steps to fat loss, how to sharpen your focus in 4 steps, micro workouts for metabolic health, or how blue blockers can affect deep sleep. This is the kind of newsletter you're gonna want to check out. Link in the description below. Your call. Think of it as a new way to approach fitness. What if health was more dependent on these low to moderate intensity exercise, which aren't even considered exercise, things like hiking or biking to work, rather than pushing very strong volumes at the gym. What if you think of an activity that could actually be fun, like playing ping pong with your kid or frisbee, or going on hikings with your family, or installing a pull-up bar in your office and going and hitting a couple of pull-ups every day? It would get you a lot further because the consistency is going to be there, because it's way easier to be consistent with a thing that's lighter on your body. I want you to think of it as consistency of movement rather than pushing very intense volumes of work. Because if you find ways to move more in a fun manner, that could be so much easier to sustain, and your body's going to reap that many more benefits because you're going to stay and stick with it. So let me share you a little story from a kinesiologist that I very admire that works at our studio. He sort of thinks of exercise as playing, as having fun. While it can be hard and intense at moments, you don't want it all to be just like hard, intense, grueling, and boring. Very repetitive in a sense. So what he does with his clients is he wants to instill in them that feeling of playfulness. You know, when you were a kid and you would go out to play with other kids, you never thought of, oh, how many calories have I burned? Oh, how my heart rate works. What was the percentage of VO2 max I boosted because of that football game? You never think of that. You sort of just play. And that is the whole concept. You sort of try to find an activity that is so fun that you don't even think about how hard it is, or the results, or the numbers, or the structures, etc. So what he does with his clients is, instead of pushing biceps curls and stuff like this, he incorporates many different complex and multi-joint or functional exercises. In the realm of scientific fitness, this is called compound work. They do some things like explosive landmine presses, they do some medicine ball throws, they have some truck tires that they flip over, climbing a rope with the clients that can do that, doing a little bit of agility and coordination on the ladder, just so that you make them feel as they're playing as much as they can. A lot of times in the summer they also go outside and slam a large track tire, they hit a few deadlifts, maybe some assisted pull-ups. So the focus is on whatever you can do that it's more fun, so you don't think about the end result, the muscle, the heart rate, whatever, but you actually think on how fun the activity is when you're doing it. And slowly you get to start in this lighter way, sort of like a warm-up. You do a couple of movement patterns, and then you get into the flow state, you develop a flow state, you become more mobile, a bit more strong, and this sort of things accumulate over time to where you can actually do the movement and it can be intense and it can still be very fun. It makes you feel not like you're tied on a machine doing knee extensions and biceps curls, isolation exercise that are not that fun to do and are more repetitive, to things like throwing a medicine ball and climbing up the rope and playing tennis or whatever it is. So here's what I do and how I train. So my optimal week would look something like 2 or 3 weightlifting sessions where I definitely cover posterior chain, so things like deadlifts and pull-ups and stuff like that. 1 push for legs, that's squats, and 1 push or pull for the upper body. This is an optimal week, of course, and additionally I do 2 power yoga sessions at the studio that I'm teaching yoga in, and also I do like 1 cardio session that could be an intense biking, which is short, 15 to 20 minutes, or it could be a longer, very low to moderate kind of intensity run. Now this is an optimal week, but when things get busy I slip off my schedule, and then I like to incorporate just a bit more movement rather than thinking of it as I need to do this structured training and today I'm pushing 3 sets of squats and blah blah blah. So in between my client work I always get to do a couple of pull-ups or do a few lighter deadlifts in between when I see I have like a few 10-15 minute window. What I started doing is playing a bit of basketball and shooting some hoops, because we do have a little basketball setup at both of our studios that I work at. And usually on the weekends where I'm a bit more free and not so scheduled like today, I'd go out and do like a 2-hour fast-paced walking with a nice podcast on in nature, or I'd do like a light run or something like that. When I notice I've been sitting for 2 hours plus chained on a desk, I'd get up and I move my shoulders a bit. I'm massaging my trapezius muscles with a massage ball, maybe a massage gun. I do a couple of shoulder circles, head circles, something like this, just to loosen the tight spots in my neck and back. So if there's something you should take from this video is start thinking on ways to move more but train less. Yes, maybe that grueling session on your treadmill doing a lot of repetitive cardio you don't like isn't actually worth the time and investment. But if you get a buddy to go out and cycle for like an hour, you get the same amounts of calories burned, a lot of fun, talking, nature, all that good stuff, and you don't feel like you do repetitive work for your health. Try some adventurous activities, do some hiking, some swimming, some skiing, maybe climbing. Slovenians love it. If you had a tough day and you're very stressed and you know it's not going to be easy to push through the squats and deadlifts in your schedule, try out a lighter movement pattern and just start gaining momentum and see where it takes you. That's all I have for you today. Peace out.